welcome back to my channel. This is Luna Ray and I'm Angela. Please come in and welcome into my space and my energy. So tonight I will be showing you how I make my intention perfumes. I have mentioned wanting to do this with you in a previous video not too long ago, and I'm finally getting down to it. I've got my perfumes and my candles and my sage. I am ready to go. But quickly, I do want to let you know that I'm doing this kind of real time. I'm going to be working with the full moon in Aquarius that is happening tomorrow. So tomorrow will be July 23rd and the full moon Eastern time is going to be at 10:36 p.m. So I quickly looked at the chart to kind of get an idea of the energy that will be surrounding this upcoming full moon and how I want to make an intention perfume to really work with the energy that that full moon is going to be putting us under. So I did look at definitely two videos on YouTube of some of my favorite, YouTubers that talked about the full moon energy, and then I kind of also looked at the chart myself, and I don't know, I can't even remember what they were saying anymore. I know when I was looking at this chart, I was like, man, this full moon energy that we are sitting under is kind of intense. I thought it was a little intense, and it kind of made sense why my life was feeling a little intense. So okay, the full moon's in Aquarius. Aquarius is that sign of, it's an air sign, it's fixed. But beyond that, it's the one that wants to break the rules. It wants to do things in an unexpected way. It wants its freedom. It kind of wants to just do its own thing. And also at the same time, it's very egalitarian, right? It's very like everybody's equal, humanitarian. I think that's why a lot of times when you look at the Aquarian or hear about Aquarian energy in the in the chart, there's always talk about the political scene, and I think that has to do with the fact that it's very massive. It has to do with mass communication and mass, not maybe communication, it's more Mercury, but just on a massive level, everybody is kind of involved with this energy. Okay, so that's the moon that we're under, and then it is in the 11th house, which is also about friendship and community. It's kind of the same energy where it's like a massive, kind of umbrella that it houses. Do you know what I mean? So lots of people kind of fall into that house. And that particular house in this chart is being ruled by Capricorn. So Capricorn is that almost like that taskmaster of a sign where it's like, you've got work to do. I don't know why you haven't done your work yet. Like, we've got these deadlines. We're going to be organized. We're going to work on it, and we're going to get this done. Capricorn is very, 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 very Capricorn. And then, what else? I have notes. What else are we looking at in this chart? Okay. Oh, and then, then the moon is sitting sandwiched. I don't know if you've seen it. It's sitting sandwiched between Saturn. So it's Saturn, the moon, and then it's Pluto on the other side. You've got the whole 11th house being ruled by Capricorn, and Saturn, its ruling planet, is hanging out too. And then it kind of dives into the Aquarian energy that is, that the moon is sitting in, because the moon is sitting right inside the Aquarian sign there. So you've got kind of an interesting play on signs, because Capricorn is like, do your job, do it this way. We've got rules. We've got the way that we're going to do things. Very, very task oriented. And the Aquarian energy is like, I don't know what you're talking about. What rules? There's rules? Yeah, I'm not doing that. So you know what I mean? So there's like this kind of interesting mix going on there. And then also when I was looking at it, okay, so the moon is, so like I said, the moon is next to Pluto, and so it's conjunct Pluto right now. Oh, okay, so the Pluto energy, that's the planet that is all about, you gotta let the inevitable be. Like, just let things go. If they are, whatever it is, whatever is trying to die and needs to transform, it's going to happen. But there's also going to be a rebirth. involved with that transformation. So that's Pluto. Pluto is like whatever needs to go needs to go. So the moon right now is an emotional luminary, and it's sitting under Aquarius, which is like, I don't care about the rules, we're not about that. And it's also working with Pluto, and Pluto is like, we're gonna just let things flow. If it's falling apart, then it's falling apart, and we're gonna let that happen. So there's like a nice flow right there, right? Whatever needs to go will kind of naturally go, especially with the Aquarian moon kind of being like, I'm not interested in caring about, you know what I mean, just the rules are at the wayside right now, and whatever is not working out is naturally going to just kind of fall off the wayside. You've also got moon in conjunction with, opposition with Mercury. So let me look here what I was looking at before, but yeah, it's in opposition with Mercury. So I love how it's also saying like that energy that's there about letting things kind of go and die off if they're dying off so they can be rebirthed. We're not even going to really talk about it too much. We're not even going to, it's just going to happen, and we're going to let that be. So this is also happening all within that 11th house of friendships, right? Community even. So I don't know, and with the Saturn energy sitting in there, you also may have, I don't know, it's almost like older friendships, maybe things that have stood for a long time, maybe starting to, I don't know, unravel a little bit. And that might be okay. So that whole spiel, I feel like I haven't heard anybody else. I only listened to 2 other videos on YouTube though, but I didn't feel like I heard anybody else kind of like presenting it that way. And I was like, well, darn, am I like completely off here? Which, hell, I could be, I don't know. But that was definitely what I was seeing when I was looking at the night sky. I have other notes that I don't want to miss, so give me a hot second here. Oh, of course, Saturn is also squaring Uranus at this time. So Saturn and Uranus. So Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. Now Uranus is sitting down in the 2nd house, but still, there's a lot to look at there because it is the ruling planet of the zodiac sign that the moon is sitting in. So I still want to pay attention to it. And then there's the fact that Saturn is hanging out right next to the moon anyway. So Saturn is square Uranus, which I found so interesting. And another thing I want to also bring up is that there's so many planets in retrograde. We all know this, right? We all know. Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, all these lovely planets are in retrograde right now. So Saturn, which is in retrograde until October, is right now squaring Uranus. And Uranus is that planet, again, has the same energy, the Aquarian energy of breaking the rules, getting their freedom, and just doing what they want to do, you know, wanting to bring equality to the masses, that kind of energy. I just want to apologize. My boys are still awake. It's summertime, and if you hear rumbling or whatever, I'm sorry. It's my boys. So anyway, yes. So with that kind of energy with Uranus wanting to break the rules and do the things that it wants to do, but it's squaring Saturn, and Saturn is that other energy, that Capricorn, because it's the ruling planet of Capricorn. Remember I said how the 11th house is being ruled by Capricorn? So it's that other energy of, I'm going to remind you of the rules. Yes, you do want to break out and do your own thing, but remember your responsibilities and your boundaries. And so both of these planets are kind of looking at each other, and they're not the real, and of course they're like way on the other spectrum of each other. One is follow those rules, and the other one is like, I didn't know there was rules. What rules? So they're kind of like this with each other. But the fact that Saturn is currently in retrograde, I find it brings such an interesting element to the entire thing, where this full moon in Aquarius is all about kind of, you know, breaking the rules and doing your own thing so you can find your freedom. But there's a lot of that Saturn and Capricorn energy very close by and very much in the mix. It almost makes me think about how boundaries. Saturn and Capricorn are all about those boundaries and all about structure. And I feel like that Saturn energy is also pulling in the reminder that putting up boundaries and having structure in a lot of ways can bring you freedom that you didn't realize that you needed. You know what I mean? Like, a better way of putting it is when you say no to other people and put a boundary up, like, no, I'm not going to do overtime. I'm going to keep my free time. You get your freedom when you keep that boundary. And that's what I mean. Just sometimes having those boundaries and those walls up give you the freedom that you want. And I feel like that energy may be in play here. And it's lighting up the 11th house and friendships. And I'm thinking, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something to do with old friendships, or maybe just intensifying friendships, maybe making new friendships that will become lasting friendships. There's a lot of interesting energy going on in that whole 11th house. I swear, it's like, it's a little bit of a dynamic over there. Other things that I noticed that I kind of like super into, there's I feel like when you look at these charts, you could dive and go into a rabbit hole every single time. There's no, like, I looked at the chart for 5 minutes and this is what I got. I wish. It's never like that though. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so another thing that I noticed when I was looking at it, my goodness, hold on. Oh, here it is. So when I was looking at it, I was taking a look at Neptune over here. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that Neptune is hanging out in the first house. So Neptune is that planet. It's an interesting planet. The avoidance planet, escapism, spiritualism, a high energy of spiritualism, and even psychic abilities are seen in the planet Neptune. And it's currently sitting in the first house. So that's self, right? Like, bringing in that psychic ability and that spiritual connection to the self. So I kind of like that it was hanging out there during this full moon. And then, interesting enough, it's also sitting in Pisces. And Pisces is ruling this entire first house. And Pisces is that aloof energy a little bit, where it's super dreamy and very creative, and like I said, just a little aloof, kind of over in cloud 9 somewhere. But that's actually so nice, because I don't know how familiar you are with the tarot deck, but the High Priestess is very much that energy of being here and there at the same time, where you've got that dreamy, otherworldly, just spiritual aspect, but at the same time you're also here in reality. So there's that duality that comes with the High Priestess, and I feel like Pisces kind of carries that same energy, where it may be out and aloof and just, you know, off in cloud 9, but at the same time they are here, so they can connect a little bit better with the spiritual realm. And that's why when you talk about Pisces, you start to talk about psychic abilities. It's a water sign as well. Anyway, so it's ruling the first house, and Neptune is hanging out in the first house. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Neptune is right at home in Pisces. So that would, anyway, so it's hanging out. This is all happening in your first house of self. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because there's a little bit of a psychic flair going on within this chart as well. I want to make sure. So with that said, I hope I didn't dive too hard there. I had to decide how I was gonna make her an intention perfume. Like, what energy am I going to be calling on here? Because honestly, I felt like this full moon is a little harsher. It's a little chaotic, a bit. Yeah, I think it is a little bit. There's definitely opportunities to gain your freedom. I think opportunities to put up boundaries so that you can have your freedom, and maybe it has to do with just the people around you, socially, work-wise, friend-wise, family-wise, whatever could be possibly pulling your freedom away. You can use that Saturn Capricorn energy of building up those walls and those boundaries to keep your freedom right where you need it, so that, you know, you don't, and that's an unexpected way of trying to gain your freedom. So it kind of all ties together. But I was really, really interested in this Neptune in the first house and its psychic qualities. So what I decided I wanted to do as far as a perfume intention is I wanted to create a perfume that helped me to harness that boundless energy of the Aquarian full moon, that you know, unexpected ways of gaining that freedom and that limitlessness that Aquarians can have, that beautiful freedom, and just free to be me, and free to kind of just spill over a little bit too. So I'm going to use that electrifying and massive quality of boundlessness that Aquarians can have. I say massive because it's like, you know, the community and the humanitarian type of qualities. There's a massiveness to this kind of sign. So I want to use that boundless, massive, electrifying energy of the Aquarian and kind of put it onto introduce it into my spiritual side, if that makes sense, because we've got that Neptune in the first house ruled by Pisces. And so I really felt like I could kind of pull that in an unexpected way, because that's also very Aquarian, to push that kind of energy into my spiritual side. So what I want to do is I want to make a perfume that will be a way to tap into my dreams prophetically, if that makes sense. So essentially I'm making a prophetic dream perfume. So that's how I'm going to be tying that all together. I hope that makes enough sense. And I'll talk more about it as I make the perfume. So I think I gotta move my camera though a little bit just so you can see what I'm doing. I've got a nice little setup over here of all of my perfumes, and I'm going to go over everything that I do to make my Intention perfume. So let's get started.